Recording.
Setting headphones.
Okay. And archiving.
2, 3.
Jingle.
Locatora Radio. Locatora Radio. Locatora Radio. Movies of myth and bullshit. A radiophonic novela. Locatora Radio, hosted by Mala Muñoz and Diosa Fem.
Hola, hola. Welcome back to Locatora Radio.
Welcome back, Locamores. This is Mala.
And this is Diosa.
And we are Las Locatoras. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to another capítulo.
Yes, thank you for tuning into Capitulo 33. Just to remind folks and any new listeners, Locatora Radio is a podcast archiving the brilliance and legacies of women and femmes of color.
Oh, yes, we are.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. It's such a beautiful day.
Yes.
At Radio Espacio in Boyle Heights. I mean, it's raining and it's gloomy, but it's still a beautiful day. We're here and
It's a
we're
little
joined
sunny out.
a
Yes.
lovely human.
Ooh.
Hey guys,
Who is
it's
she?
me.
Who is she?
Who is she?
Who is she?
What's up? Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we have the incomparable Kat Lazo
Ooh,
in the building.
Yes, I love that. I'm gonna use that in my bio.
Yes. You can steal that if you like.
Yes, okay, so we have a really exciting interview ready for y'all. But before
Yes.
that, we always like to do some little housekeeping, recap, do all those fun things. So recently, we released our episode 32, Capitulo 32, with Belladonna.
Yes.
Bella and Natalia from Belladonna. Thank you for folks that have listened, for the feedback. It's been really interesting to see
Yeah.
folks engage and to talk with us.
Yes.
Positive or negative, like feedback is always really good,
Yeah.
especially because since that interview is very different from anything we've done before. Yeah.
Very different. I think in the past, our capítulos have been more like us just discussing topics, and our guests have been talking about their projects and things like that, but we haven't addressed like a controversy.
Right.
We haven't addressed really like an intra-community like issue that's actually going on like in real life, like in our actual community with actual, you know what I mean? So it was a difficult interview, I think, for us to approach.
Yes, it was. And I just like wanted to be clear that for folks that have tuned in, like, and folks that like just don't want to listen because of the interviews with Belladonna, because that is what someone has actually said.
We've gotten several comments
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm not going to pay attention to anything Belladonna." Meanwhile, like commenting multiple times,
Right.
but not wanting to listen.
Yeah, exactly. But so if you did listen and you're listening now, I just wanted to be known that like the Tumblr post that circulated, like yes, that behavior was problematic and
Yes.
the way that no one has ever denied that. We have never denied that. The point of the interview is that we cannot just cut people off that are in our community and that are still creating, and that we have to allow people to grow and do better, which is the point of the interview. Not that what has been done wasn't problematic, but that people can actually change and we can, reconstruct stuff.
Yeah. In addition, it's like, look, if you don't want to fuck with them, then don't fuck with them. You don't have to support them.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow them. You don't have to give them your money. Like lots of us do not give our businesses to organizations, corporations, brands that we don't like, that we find problematic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But remember, like, not fucking with somebody and not supporting them is not the same thing as intentionally and viciously, like,
Yes.
attacking them,
Yes.
and threats. It's not...
Right. Nowhere did we say, like, oh, the call-out wasn't constructive. We were saying that the types
drag.
of comments were not productive, right? So I just want that distinction to be made, because that's really important. We're never like, oh, yes, they never did anything wrong. No, we all fuck up. We all
Yeah.
make mistakes, right? So I just want that to be put out there.
Yeah, and I think also call out versus drag.
Yes. Yes, we weren't saying don't call them out. Don't drag them. Don't send women death threats.
Keep in mind, if you're initiating a drag, you can't control it and where it goes and what it becomes. You can't control how other people are going to participate and jump into it.
Yes.
And if, just keep that in mind, that shit gets ugly, and maybe that wasn't your intention, but that's what ends up happening.
Right. And anything on the internet, once it's out there, like anything goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So always keep that in mind. All right, so on to different topics.
Different
fun
topics,
things.
new topics.
New topic. We want to recap on Cumbiaton. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Let's talk about
It was so much fun.
Cumbiaton.
And Kat, you went to Cumbiaton.
I did. I've been quiet. I'm like, oh my god, am I supposed to talk? It was lit. It was lit. I am half Colombian, so I appreciated the cumbia.
Yes. And there was a Colombian cumbia group last night.
Hey.
La
La Mera Candelaria.
Mera Candelaria, and she fucking killed it.
She was so
She killed
good.
that shit.
I had heard of her and her band, but I had never seen her live, and she was so good.
And she's from up north.
Yes, she's from Oakland.
She's from Oakland, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
I'm sorry if we're mistaken.
No, but she's from the Bay. She's from
the Bay.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so Cumbiaton was a lot of fun. We were the femcees for the evening.
Whoop,
Yes.
whoop. And both of you did an amazing job.
Oh, thank
and
you.
a comfortable job. So, round of
Thank you.
applause.
Oh, thank you.
We love to femc.
We do. And yeah, the party was good. The vibes were good. We met some listeners.
We met a bunch of listeners,
Yeah,
and there were
that's
people
always
who
fun.
came up from San Diego, and I think some people came from, in addition to the artists that
Right.
came from the Bay, there were party people that came from the Bay to come hang out. It was at Civic Center Studios. We want to shout out DJ Sizzle Fantastic.
Yes,
Mm.
and the Cumbiaton Collective for putting on such an amazing night and for inviting us to be a part of it.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
It was
fun.
a lot of fun.
And it was also in celebration of International Women's Day and
Mm.
International Women's Month. So yeah, just a night to celebrate women and femmes, and always really, I mean, it's always a celebration.
We don't need a reason.
No.
We don't need an occasion
No, we do not.
to celebrate ourselves.
No.
You don't have to tell me twice.
No.
And then the other exciting thing that was going on yesterday and that's been going on is the We All
Yes.
Grow
Mm.
Summit. Do you want to tell us about it? Oh, you weren't there. Never mind. That wasn't you.
That
That was Raquel.
Raquel was also here.
Raquel is here.
For those who can't see, Raquel's right behind.
Raquel went. Maybe Raquel will tell us about it later if she wants to. But Kat's here for her own purpose.
You're so ridiculous.
I'm very delirious, you guys, right now.
I mean,
I'm
I
very
saw the
tired.
event via Instagram and social, and it looked amazing.
It was fun.
It looked so beautiful. It looked like so many amazing women were, working together. I was very jealous that I was not there. Some amazing panels. So
Yeah, same. We could not make it due to work things.
We wanted to.
We really wanted to. Next year, hopefully.
They make us go to work
They make us
all
work
the time.
9 to 5.
It's horrible.
Capitalism is terrible.
I know, they're so mean. But yeah, so Kat,
yes.
you're back in LA. And full disclosure, the last time Kat was in LA, we tried to record with her and we fucked up the recording. I fucked it up.
This is take 2.
I'm just saying. So this is
Transparency is important.
True.
raw behind the scenes. We're learning as we go. So we're trying again. Thank you for
Right.
being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And I'm also excited because when we tried to do the interview, it was like a very short, like 10-minute,
Yeah.
just like a mini-sode. So I'm really
Yes.
happy that we get to actually sit down and have a full-length Capitulo
Look at
with
this,
you.
a couple months and I get like a full episode.
Yes, and we brunched recently. We're just like on a whole new like mommy friendship.
Okay, can we talk
I'm
about
blushing.
brunch? Our
We
brunch?
sure can. I'm down to talk about brunch.
Where do we start? What do we talk about first with Kat? What do you want to talk about first?
I want to talk about everyone who came in my DMs, watching you dance.
Yes.
Who were just like in awe of you. I was like, who is this? Who is this crew that you're rolling with? I'm like, yes, stay jealous.
Oh, from brunch.
Yes.
From the brunch. There was a lot of
There were a lot of videos circulating of Mala that day.
we took over the restaurant. And the thing is, it wasn't a bar, it was a restaurant. And people
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
We
There was
took
a
over.
DJ. We actually took over.
yeah, it was a Scala in K-Town.
Yeah,
And we did
shout
the
out.
bottomless.
Sponsor
And
us.
I need at least 2.
Great food, by the way.
Yeah.
The food was delicious.
But I think we need a couple months before we can go back. I need a disguise.
I'm down this weekend. Just
I was on my best behavior.
you
Kind of.
were.
I was. I
You
feel like I was
definitely
doing good.
You absolutely were.
You want to know why? Because I wanted to keep doing stuff, and when you brunch, that's kind of it. Like you're not going to do anything the rest of the day. So I was like, no, like I have to drink water.
Adulting.
Right? I was like, I have to grocery shop. I have to fucking meal prep. Okay.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I know. It was a little boring, but it's okay. Next time.
But you behave. You
I tend to behave.
You
I
tend to behave.
Yeah.
I don't.
Rare occasions.
Can I just say that when brunch started, I actually thought to myself, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a nice like low key brunch, and then fast forward hours later, I'm like, nah, that was wrong.
My favorite.
That's hilarious.
Yes, Raquel. My favorite are the IG videos of me and Raquel twerking on the fountain and on each other.
That is my favorite video.
Girl, yeah, those are the stories that I'm talking about. That people were like, who is that?
That needs to be a gift. Like, did anyone save it?
Honestly,
Yeah, I think
That should be a good one.
maybe not. We have to go back.
Yes, go to your
Archives.
True. True.
Yeah.
So I think we want to get into our segment.
We're going to get into our segment of Oye Locas, where we answer listener questions.
I like how Raquel doesn't know what we're listening. Can you hear it?
I hear that.
All right. Oye Locas.
Let's do it.
What do you guys want to know about?
So we have a first question, and I wanted to pick like a balance of like a really lighthearted one and then a more like intense one. So this one is, what is your favorite lip color? Which I love. I love talking about makeup. We can talk about makeup all day.
You first.
Yesterday, I am rocking right now Vive Cosmetics.
Yes.
And I'm rocking, I think it is Morenita.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling this color right
It's
now.
really
Show the
pretty
camera,
on you.
show the people.
Yes.
Doesn't she look great?
Yes.
I love it.
I am also wearing Vive Cosmetics Café con Leche, which I picked up last night also.
This was not a coincidence. Like, this is a coincidence.
This is a coincidence.
We did not plan this.
But you know, when you get a new shade, you want to like wear it as soon as possible, right? So yeah, Vive Cosmetics. If you haven't checked them out, they're on Instagram. They have a website. You can purchase their liquid lipsticks. 2 Latinas behind the brand, and they're super dope. They say that their lipsticks are taco proof, which
I think
that
they are.
because this is not moving.
They're everything proof.
Yes.
I like their red one.
Yes.
That I don't remember what it's called.
Luchadora, I think.
Yeah, they sent us. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Vive.
thank you, Vive.
And the Vive girls were there last night.
They were selling.
And we met them, and they were super sweet. So nice to meet
So
you.
beautiful. Y'all are amazing.
And I told them, I was like, that red lippy is dangerous. Leave no trace, honey. No evidence. You know what I mean? It's really good.
Right.
So yeah, I would say for me, I like a red. I like a red. I also like dark colors on me. I also like nudes.
So you like all the colors?
I like all the
You like all
colors.
of them.
I think they all look really good on me. That's my answer to your
You can't
question.
go bad with like a good red lip though.
I agree.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It can really tie a look together.
Yes.
I really like it. All right. So next question. Okay. So the listener asked, as light-skinned Latinas, us,
Yeah.
how do you actively elevate darker-skinned Latinas who are indigenous or Afro-Latinx? How do you hold your friends and family accountable? That's a
Good question.
very...
And Kat, I'm really happy that you're here because I think that this is a topic that you have touched on many times in the Cat Call.
Yeah. So we've addressed this in season 1 with why are novelas so white, kind of amplifying the colorism that exists in specifically like Latin American media and novelas. But to answer this question, so I guess with the example of even the Cat Call, I think I try to make sure that folks have a seat at the table. So that's writers, researchers, like also that people get paid, that their work is going to be amplified. And for a lot of the time, it's also just stepping back, knowing your place. So I think, unfortunately, because I am in front of the camera, I do get a lot of requests often, come speak for this, come to my college to do this, or, we want you in this video. And I can't speak for all women, I can't speak for all Latinas, and so I think it is our duty to do work that maybe is sometimes not seen, and make sure that you're recommending folks, that you make sure that they get paid. There's like one particular event that I remember where someone invited me to come speak. There was an Afro-Latina who was also speaking with me, and I asked, I'm like, well, I want to get paid. Oh, and she had done the event twice prior to me. And I asked, I'm like, I want to get paid. And they were like, yeah, sure. We're going to pay you like this X amount. I'm like, perfect. So I DM homegirl and I'm like, hey, you're getting paid too, right? She's like, no, I've never gotten paid. I'm like, no. I was like, ask them, tell them you want to get paid. This is how much I'm getting paid. So make sure that that's the exact amount, if not more, since you've been doing this.
Yes.
So I think it's about just using whatever type of power you have in order to, hold people accountable and make sure that, your homegirls are rightfully compensated, credited also for their work.
Yeah, that's great. That's fabulous. I think that the examples you gave are also like real world,
Tangible examples.
tangible material examples. The discussion that we were having before we started recording is I feel myself that because so much of our time and our energy and like our work is online and on the internet, it's very like visual,
Right.
right? We look at a lot of pictures and images. I think a lot of times when people are asking like for you to represent or uplift darker skinned people, what they're asking for is like, well, are you posting about
Right.
Afro-Latinas and are you posting pictures of
Right.
darker skinned people? And my thing is like, that's not uplifting, right? That's very performative.
Mm-hmm.
And there are real concrete ways in real life, in the work that you do, the choices that you make to ensure that, again, you're not taking up space where you're not needed, right? Where you're staying in your lane, that a job that should go to an Afro-Latina, a Black woman, a Native woman goes to that person, right? And not to you. In the work that I do, many of my clients, right, are just the range of race and ethnicity. I work with a lot of Black women. I work with a lot of undocumented women. I work with every type of Latina imaginable, right? So for me, when I'm thinking about uplifting people who are darker than me or who are marginalized, I'm thinking about how in my work day to day am I helping you to get into housing? Am I putting effort to make sure you're getting a restraining order? Am I helping you to change your address confidentially and change your name confidentially and to relocate confidentially so that you can be safe? So if you're asking me how do I uplift people, it's by doing that.
Right.
Right? By working. So that would be my answer to that question.
Yeah. I think another tangible way is to shop local and to shop from Black-owned businesses and Latina-owned businesses. Like specifically whenever I'm buying like crystals or any type of like holistic anything, I try like my best to figure like to either like go on Instagram and like find the boutiques and go out of my way or order online, those kinds of things. So there's a lot of women, Black women and Latinas, Indigenous women that are selling on Instagram, especially, so you can have like the social media aspect of it and then also support those local owned businesses. So I think that to give your actual money, if you're going to be buying something, especially crystals, especially these things that are often co-opted by white folks, and you can see them at Urban Outfitters. You can buy sage at Urban Outfitters. Don't buy sage at Urban Outfitters.
No.
Do not. You know what I mean? Like, go to your botanica, give your money to the small businesses. I think that's really important. And if I'm shopping local and I'm shopping small, I need to know that it's POC owned, Black owned.
Yes, yeah, that's really important too. Where are your dollars going? Where's your financial support going?
Right.
You're in person again, like in real life, on the ground support.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that, I don't know the name. I'll have to find it and I'll post it on our Instagram. But there was recently I think it's a liquid lip company, and it's Black owned. A Black woman owns it, and they're just going to be carrying it at Target. And it's like super amazing, and we'll post about it. I can't remember the name, but I remember that Shark Tank actually like rejected it.
I remember that.
And now it's like a multi-billion dollar or $1 million,
they're thriving.
company. They're doing really well. So we'll post it so y'all can also shop from them.
Support.
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead, and Kat brought us a song. We're gonna do our song break. You want to introduce the song and the artist?
This is Lizzo, and you're gonna listen to "Good as Hell."
Yes.
Enjoy.
I do my hair toss. Baby, how you feeling?
And we're back. Thank you for bringing that song, Kat.
I love Lizzo so much.
That's such a
so
good
helpful, so
song.
helpful, so empowering.
So relevant.
Very true.
So relevant to life. I feel that's a feel good song.
It is.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a really
That's
feel
a
good
song you put on right before you go out with your girls.
Yes.
And you're getting dressed.
I
yes.
love it.
Yes.
All right, so for those that are unfamiliar, which I don't think any of our listeners are, but just in case, Kat Lazo is a director, producer, writer, and visual storyteller. She also works at Me Too. We are Me Too. So shout out. We want to talk about the Cat Call, like specifically. I know you're like in season 2 right now.
Season 2 is airing, and right
Yes.
now I'm actually in LA purposely to start production on season 3.
So exciting!
How exciting.
I love it.
I start shooting next week.
Can
Yeah.
you give us a little like cat call history?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of that history is actually prior to me working at Me Too. I had my own YouTube channel. Prior to that, I wanted to be an actress when I was younger. I literally wanted to be like the next Natalie Portman. So I studied acting. I went to a performing arts high school. If y'all are familiar with Fame, the movie, that's the school I went to.
Oh.
Yes. I graduated, and I was faced with the reality of the industry, which was they didn't care if I studied 4 years of classical theater, Shakespeare. All they cared about was whether I could fit this really narrow stereotype, so going audition after audition, casting directors asking me, that was great, but can you say that a little more urban? Or, how well could I move my neck or snap my tongue? It was lots of that, so it was very draining on my emotional health. And basically since then, I've just constantly been trying to find ways of how to change the industry within. I worked in casting for a little bit, then I studied advertising, marketing, communications, and I was like, I can't work in advertising. They're gonna hate me for my morals.
Right.
And so, very stereotypical. I was about to graduate and I'm like, what do? I know, I'll start a YouTube channel. It sounds very cliche millennial, but that is what I did. And so I had the Cat's Meow, where I just had fun, like just doing skits and vlogs, just lots of, from my perspective, lots of like media representation breakdown kind of things. And then when I got hired by Me Too, it was almost a very easy and seamless transition to now be like, they basically gave me autonomy and were like, do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, I have a great idea. And the idea really came from also because our audience, I started seeing how our audience was not so receptive.
Right. We've talked about that before. The Me Too comment section is a hot ass mess.
It's not good.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And so, but instead of, brushing it off and being like, oh my God, our audience is like ignorant, or my God, they're so hateful.
Right.
I thought like, okay, let's combine what they love, right? Like our audience really loves those like meme skits, like slapstick kind of like comedic stuff. So why don't I take that type of format and then like insert a vlog where it's like educational, high pace, like very fast, but always accessible. So my hope was to basically target, our commenters and give them an accessible like series that can break down topics like colorism, homophobia, puta shaming, things of that nature. And so now thankfully it's been successful. And it's no, hold on. I'm gonna fix that. I said that with my high-pitched voice, and I'm gonna say it has been successful. Period.
Yes.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah, and now we're on season 3. So yeah,
that's amazing. Congratulations on the new season.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
And it seems like it's been quite the journey.
It sure has, girl. Yes, it has. It's a lot of work. I think a lot of people don't realize that I'm not just in front of the camera for these videos. I'm conceptualizing, I'm directing. The first season, I edited the entire first season. I wrote the entire first season. Then thankfully, because of its success, I was able to bring on writers of different backgrounds. I was able to bring on a researcher. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but I love what I do, and I love the reaction, both the good and the bad, and I will say that equally. I enjoy the people who still don't get it, will combat me, and that's okay. And then the people who, send me DMs, screenshots of the videos being played in high schools or in colleges, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I want to ask Kat because, I think especially for women who are doing anything online, and especially women who are talking about what you talk about, social justice issues. I know that you get a lot of hate because people don't like you,
Yeah.
and they are just being straight up fucking mean, and they're kind of obsessive maybe.
Yeah.
And how do you navigate that? Just like the hate.
Well, it's interesting because it's hard to decipher. It's taken me some time to decipher when someone is truly just being mean, and whether someone is actually trying, like, just doesn't get it, and maybe it's just coming from a more angry, hateful place. But in all honesty, I do slow down reading the comments now, which, pains me to say because of the negative comments, I miss out sometimes on the positive comments. So I do give myself some breathers. The folks I meet through also, I've had conversations with them about, please, like, I don't want to see these type of comments. So if there's anything type of, like, violence, I will say that maybe the biggest thing that ever, like, really hurt me was, like, when folks were rallying. It was, like, one of our top comments. People were like, fire Kat, fire Kat. And I was like, oh my god, this is my job, you guys.
Yeah.
But thankfully,
wild.
Me Too was like, no, it's fine. Like, you still have a job. This is why we wanted you.
Yeah. Well, can I ask, what was that about?
Well, you know what it is ultimately, I think my videos and the content that I'm addressing disrupts the natural, like, the feed, right? So if they've only been consuming comedic things that are just distractions, and maybe this one is making them think, then I think there's a little bit of anger there. It's like, why are you coming and changing this page that I like so much? So I think it's their way of being like, get her off, we don't want to see this type of content. I'm okay with just being strictly distracted. But yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
When folks want to come for people's jobs, like,
bruh, it's one, look, it really is one thing if you are friggin', here's the imbalance, right? Sexual predator, rapist, Harvey Weinstein, and all of them were allowed to literally rape people for decades, and people protected them. You annoy somebody,
Right.
and they want you fired right now.
Yeah.
That is what we call a witch hunt.
Well, let
right?
me just say, I have not thought, wow, that connection right there, you just blew my mind.
It's fucked up.
No,
It's fucked up. So so the violence, the aggression, the dragging towards women creators over things that can be addressed in a very, like, educational, human manner, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
There's a discrepancy, there's a power imbalance, and it's not cool. Like, that's not cool, that they came for you in that way. For what? You know?
I wonder what those people would, if, had I been fired in the beginning of season 2, or I forget when that happened, had I been fired as a result of their comments, I wonder how those people would feel. Like, just thinking the repercussions of, like, what that could have had on me or anyone else that people want to rally and, advocate that they get fired. I wonder if people actually think, maybe it's that commenters don't know the power that they have too.
Yeah.
Because I know as companies, like, we spend time reading your comments, to know where we need to facilitate more conversation or what we're not addressing. So maybe there's also a lack of education of folks behind the screen not realizing their actual power.
Right.
And that you're a human being.
Right.
That too.
It's such an interesting, like the dynamics are so weird because I feel like people really do post on the internet thinking that no one else is going to see it.
Or that no one else is going to comment.
They comment and, like, people aren't going to see it. Or they're not going to care about it.
And you don't realize it's not just you. There's literally millions of people on the internet, and people like to follow and jump on bandwagons, to be honest.
And at the end of the day, I think also those comments that are targeted toward me, it's because I make folks uncomfortable by, like I said, I'm disrupting this feed, and it's almost like you're forced via swiping and looking at the feed to now maybe see a mirror to yourself. And that's always been my objective also, is with the cackle, is that I know that as a light-skinned Latina, as a middle-class Latina, I cannot speak for all of us. I cannot speak for the entire Latinx.
To me, Viva la Mujer means centering and uplifting the passions that mujeres have.
And to me, Viva la Mujer means a space where women can come, connect, have fun, and build together.
Besitos!
My mom is the boss lady in my life. She leads with love. She takes care of us. She is the sweetest, kindest individual ever.
And my boss lady is my grandma Nacha, who showed me that you can get a lot of shit done without having to rely on a man at all. Besitos!